What's up, guys? Enkiri here. Today I want to cover some recent work that I did as part of my hybrid athlete lower body training on the Enkiri Elite Conjugate Method. If you're interested in training like this, be sure to grab a copy of that manual for yourself at www.enkirielitefitness.com. And if you enjoy informative training content just like this video, please remember to smash the like button and leave me a friendly comment down below as well so that more people get the opportunity to see it. So I kicked this session off with a heavy squat here. I haven't been doing too much free squatting lately. It's mostly just been Anderson, so bottom up variations, as well as pin variations where I go top down, pause on the pins, and then explode back up, as that's really just what's been most enjoyable for me lately. But I decided here on this session that I wanted to see what I could still front squat without the pins. So I worked up to a heavy single and I managed a decent lift with 405, which is 25 pounds below my all-time best front squat of 430 pounds. So that's really not too bad, all things considered, as I'm really sort of out of practice here with free squat variations. But this ramp up is pretty typical of how I like to kick off my heavy lower body days. I pretty much just pick a squat variation at this point, any variation that sounds fun to me that day, and I ramp it up to something heavy in the 1 to 5 rep range, whatever target that I've decided to aim for on that day. And I've gotten in some really nice work that way throughout 2024. I've hit a bunch of different really good sets with the Anderson front squat, with the Anderson SSB squat, with different pin squat variations, the front, the back, the SSB, as well as some box squat variations also. All that in 2024, just some really solid, productive training. It has been a pretty productive training year for me altogether, I would say. And lately, I've also actually started working in some more heavy pulling and posterior chain movements into this slot, also the heavy slot. Previously, I had really been saving those movements for secondary work only, but I've been starting to mix them into that primary slot a little bit more often these days as well, like these heavy good mornings. I've toyed around with some heavy 1 to 3s on those. I've also started working in the snatch grip stiff leg deadlift, as well as the deficit stiff leg deadlift. And I kind of want to try to pull 500 for a single with stiff legs from a 5-inch deficit. That might be a little bit lofty, but that will require me to do a little bit more pulling work in order to potentially be able to accomplish that.
That's hard.
And then after the heavy slot, I move into something explosive, whether it be a jump variation or some type of sprint. It can also be a loaded jump or a resisted sprint, as well as an explosive lifting movement. So in this session, I opted for the hang Power Snatch, which is an explosive lifting movement, and I crushed 8 sets of 2 with 180 pounds there pretty easily. After those 8 sets, I decided to hit 185 for a double and then 190 just for fun, and both those sets were pretty easy as well. I could probably hit 200 or 210 for a double on this exercise right now if I wanted to, with my max single somewhere in the 220 to 230 pound range. I haven't been doing this movement very often lately, so I'm not super efficient at it from a skill perspective right now, but my ability to express power generally is still very high these days. I recently hit a super easy set of 265 for 5 on the snatch grip high pull. That's another movement that I love, but I haven't been doing much of this past year or so. And that set, I probably still had 20 pounds or so in the tank. So power production is really solid these days. I'm jumping high, I'm jumping far, and I'm running really fucking fast also, as we'll see in just a minute. And then I wrapped up the main work for the day here with my posterior chain volume. So here I hit sets of 10 reps and I just ramped up real quick. I did 225 for 10, then 275 for 10, and then 315 for 10 for a top set on the deficit RDL. And my goal here is really just to keep the hips high, tap the tops of my feet while maintaining tension, and then explode back up. You get a massive hammy stretch, and that's just really good stuff. And in this slot, I'll do really any type of hinge movement or hamstring work. So some of my favorites in this particular slot are just different variations of good mornings. I'll use a straight bar sometimes, a SSB sometimes. I'll go to pins sometimes. I'll do them free sometimes, etc., as well as different RDL variations and different hyperextension variations as well. I've been really liking unilateral hyperextensions lately. This is also the slot where I would put something like a Nordic curl or a glute ham raise. And then later in the week, I got out to the field and I did some really nice sprint work. So I ran the 50-meter circle here for 2 reps both ways, so 4 reps in total. Then I ran some curved 60-yard dashes. There I did 3 reps each way, 6 reps total. After that, I did the L drill, but I doubled the distance from the classic L drill. It's usually 30 total yards covered, and I doubled it up to 60 yards covered by placing the cones 10 yards apart instead of 5 yards apart, and I did 3 reps there. Then I moved on to the triple broad jump, where I did 10 sets, and I finished up with 3 sets of 10 on each leg of the single leg hop for distance. So lots of really good work there, a bunch of different types of stimuli, and my work capacity is really high with this type of work these days. I can pretty much run and jump all day long with little or almost no drop off in performance from set to set, and my body feels great, man. On these days, I really just try to mix things up. I use a blend of acceleration work and max velocity work on my different linear drills. Then I usually try to add in some high speed work that involves a cut or a curve as well, like you see in this session. And then I like to use a variety of different unilateral and bilateral jumping drills to finish up the day. So I'm really just covering all my different bases there over time. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the training vlog. Please remember to smash the like button before you go. Leave me a friendly comment down below. Check out EnkiriEliteFitness.com for online coaching and training programs. And keep training hard. I will catch you guys next time.